What's up, everyone? Welcome back to King Anime Review, and for this video, I will be reviewing episode 225 of Boruto Naruto Next Generations, titled Showdown Between Best Friends. Now, this episode, I'm predicting that a lot of people are going to have misinterpretations about this episode. So I'm going to try my best to break this down in a way that everybody can understand, because the correct way to interpret things in this episode is the way I'm going to be explaining in the review. So, for starters, I want to point out one very, very important piece of dialogue, which was when Sarada said to Cho Cho, "Let's settle this soon." So this is after Cho Cho and Sarada had basically agreed to let's basically go all out or whatever. But if Sarada was like, if she, because right before she uses the Chidori, she say, "Let's settle this soon." So basically she say, "Let's settle this soon," and then she powers up the Chidori. So that basically proves that Sarada wasn't going fully all out until she activated the Chidori. So before she used Chidori, she wasn't truly using her full power, because she said, "Let's settle this soon," which means previously she wasn't trying to settle things as fast as possible, which means previously she wasn't using her full power. So I am going to say that is going to justify the power scaling, because I said, I don't know if I said this on my YouTube channel before, but Sarada should absolutely have no difficulty fighting Cho Cho. Like, she literally have insanely impressive feats, extremely impressive feats from the Boro fight. And, he's an inner member of Korra. He should, be around Kage level, if not above Kage level. And yeah, she was capable of fighting Boro and actually blitzing Boro. In the anime and manga, she was capable of blitzing Boro. Some people think Boruto actually dodged her Chidori. No, Boruto didn't dodge her Chidori, because she just slowed down in order to give Boruto enough time to move out of the way. Because as we seen right before she got to Boro, she literally slowed down, and she completely stopped when she got to Boro, and then she blitzed them again. So the anime did change some things up from the Boro fight, which I didn't like. I was criticizing that a lot when they changed some things up from the Boro fight in comparison to how it was in the manga. Because in the manga, Boro was using hand signs before Sarada hit him with the Chidori. So Sarada looked a lot more impressive in the manga. In the anime, they had Boruto use that Rasengan to blow off one of Boro's arms. So Boro actually wasn't using hand signs when Sarada was coming at him with the Chidori. However, he still couldn't dodge the Chidori, meaning Sarada still technically blitzed him. And as far as Boruto go, he did not dodge the Chidori. He did do a backflip out the way, but Sarada slowed down, giving him enough time to do that. If you actually watch the anime and slowed it down, you'll actually be able to see that. So Sarada wasn't running at full speed until she got up to Boro, when she completely stopped, and then she went full speed at Boro when she blitzed Boro. But anyways, point being, I think the piece of dialogue that Sarada said when she said, "Let's settle this soon," I think that basically proves that she wasn't, using her full power. You could possibly say she was serious, because her and Cho Cho did say we're going to go all out or whatever. You could possibly say she was, serious. Like, you can take something, you can basically take something seriously without using your full power, for example. Like, for example, if Sasuke was, serious when he fought Naruto in the Final Valley, and I'm talking about in part 1, for example, he could be serious in his base form, but then when he goes into Sharingan, he's using his full power, and then basically when he get to curse mark levels, then he's using, his true power, like he's truly using his full power at that point. But anyways, so yeah, that's the only way I could, say that the anime may have salvaged the power scaling, because Cho Cho has no feats that's putting her on Sarada levels. So, people did say, well, she could have trained off screen or whatever. No amount of training that Cho Cho did should be able to put her on Sarada levels. Because if you were to make that argument, then that would be extremely weird, because then that would basically put Cho Cho above, like Boro levels and above inner Korra levels in a extremely fast, in a extremely short period of time. Like, because, we saw her, we seen her fight like before the Korra arc in the anime. As a matter of fact, I think she was in a Korra actuation arc. I'm pretty sure she fought then as well. So for her to be jumping from where she was, the last time we seen her fight, all the way until above core levels, or at least above Boro levels. That would be an extremely huge jump in power. So, and plus it's not believable unless we actually seen some training and got some information on how she got that huge boost in power. But anyways, then we also have Cho Cho. She used her super butterfly mode to try to counter Sarada Shidori, and she got destroyed. She got one-shotted. Now, and then after that, and I know I just want to get that out of the way real quick. I wanted to go over, basically why I think the power scaling wasn't completely ruined in terms of that fight. Now, with that being said, let's go and let me just start at the beginning of the episode, because I did basically skip to like a little bit later on in the episode. Now, it is one thing in this episode that kind of annoyed me, and that was how Kawaki and Shinki's interaction. Now, once again, I think people might be I think people might misinterpret this, because what happened was Shinki was looking at Kawaki. He was staring at Kawaki, and Kawaki was getting very, very annoyed. He got so annoyed to the fact that he actually left the arena, the Chunin Exams arena. That's how annoyed and irritated he was by Shinki staring at him. So he just said, "Yeah, I'm gonna leave," because this guy, he's so annoyed by Shinki staring at him that he literally left the arena. So then what happened was Shinki followed Kawaki out. Yodo said, "Hey, what are you doing? Basically Cho Cho's about to fight. You fought her in the last exams." And yeah, Shinki, he still left. He still decided to leave. It was kind of weird that Yodo asked Shinki how Kawaki was doing. How was Kawaki or whatever. I guess that she just assumed that Shinki was. Maybe she just is because she knows Shinki so well that she knew that, yeah, he probably went to talk to Kawaki, or probably went to say something to Kawaki. So she probably assumed that that's what he wanted to do. And he actually prioritized that over seeing the Sarada match. But they both made it back in time for the match anyways. But anyway, so Shinki and Kawaki, they went outside the arena, and basically Kawaki asked, "Hey, why are you staring at? Why was you staring at me in there, or whatever? And who are you?" Shinki introduced himself. He said, "I'm Shinki of the Hidden Sand." And Kawaki said, "What do you want with me?" or something like that. And Shinki said, "You should watch this match." And he said something about the tuning exams. I think he said something about you shouldn't be underestimating the tuning exams, or whatever. You should watch this match. And then Kawaki, he said, you have no business. Basically, you shouldn't be ordering me around, or whatever. Or who do you think you are ordering me around? And then Kawaki tried to leave again. And then Shinki basically put his hand on Kawaki's shoulder and basically told him again, "Yeah, you should watch this match." And then Kawaki got mad. He grabbed Shinki's iron sand cloak that he got on, and he noticed that it was actually iron sand. Like the sand actually started to, he actually noticed that it felt like iron sand basically. And then, yeah, so after that he said, "Oh, this is gonna be fun," or it seems like this is gonna be fun. And then he started to, he tried to take his arm out of, he tried to take his arm out of Shinki's iron sand, and then he actually fell back, and then he said, "Yeah, it seems like this is going to be fun." And then he used his body modifications to try to attack Shinki, and then Shinki grabbed his scientifically enhanced hand, or whatever, his body modifications. He grabbed his arm when Kawaki used his body modifications, and then so he stopped Kawaki from attacking him, and then with his and then he used his iron sand arm to basically slam Kawaki on the ground. So Kawaki got knocked down twice by Shinki. Now, this is something that, first of all, I don't know if you guys watched my previous videos where I actually scaled Kawaki to being above KCM Naruto. Now, look, here's the thing. I don't think this, you could use one thing to justify this. And what I'm going to say is this most likely happened because Kawaki wasn't bloodlusted. And you could argue that he was underestimating Shinki. He seen the iron sand and seen seen how it worked, and he was like, "Okay, this looked like it's gonna be fun." So you could say, yeah, he was interested in Shinki's abilities, but there's no proof that he was actually taking Shinki 100%. There's no proof that he thought that he would have needed to go all out against Shinki. There's no proof of that, and there's no proof that he was bloodlusted or going full power. Only thing is he seemed interested in Shinki's abilities. That doesn't mean that, like, probably it's because he never seen that type of ability before, Iron Sand. So he's probably like, hey, this look like it's gonna be fun. But he probably underestimated Shinki, thinking, yeah, this might be a fun match, but not necessarily thinking he needed to go all out. So with that, keeping that in mind, we could say that basically Kawaki wasn't going all out against Shinki. Now, even with that being said, this still was a very, very illogical thing for the anime to do. And I think the anime is starting to misuse Kawaki. That was just like, hey, I think I said in my last review, I wanted Shinki and Kawaki to meet. That's something I wanted to happen. And yeah, I was really, I thought that was cool, them being able to meet. I thought that was a cool thing. But what they ended up doing was kind of like, yeah, it's like, what are y'all doing with Kawaki? Like, do y'all not understand the power scaling? First of all, we know these are anime original episodes. I'm not saying these are filler or anything, but we know these are anime original episodes. So I don't know how much the manga writers, specifically Kishimoto, I don't know how much he's involved in this stuff. But yeah, the anime is kind of like, they're getting really, really close to messing up the power scaling. They're getting really close. They're getting extremely close to messing up the power scaling, and I hope that they don't actually do that. They need to. I don't know what they're doing with Kawaki right now, but they've been misusing him basically ever since this. Ever since the Kawaki arc ended, they've been misusing him, only showing him for a brief couple of seconds in every episode. This episode was the episode that he got the most amount of screen time, I think, ever since the Kawaki arc ended. And when they finally give him a decent amount of screen time, they have him look like he absolutely got destroyed by Shinki. Even though, like I said, well, first of all, Shinki didn't actually necessarily hurt him or anything. He kind of just knocked him out, basically slapped him on the ground. Didn't actually do any real damage to him or anything, but still. And plus, you could, like I said, I could argue that there's no proof of Kawaki going all out. But even with all that being said, they definitely tried to make Kawaki look weak for some reason, and I do not know why they're doing that. I wanted Shinki and Kawaki to meet, but I didn't want them to meet like that. If they were going to do a fight between them, or this wasn't even necessarily a fight, really. But if they were going to have them have a little, use their powers against each other, they should have had Kawaki go all out, and they should have had them have a decent, first of all, Kawaki would actually one-shot Shinki if we're going off of power skill, and Kawaki actually should one-shot Shinki. Kawaki, it actually should have been the other way around. Kawaki should have made easy work of Shinki, not how they did it in this episode where it looked like it was actually, Shinki who made easy work of Kawaki. Like I said, there's no proof of Kawaki going all out. So I'm not going to say the anime ruined the power scaling in this episode. Now, with all that being said, let's get to the fight. So it was Sarada versus Cho Cho. I already basically talked about how the fight ended. But basically at the start of the fight, Sarada, Cho Cho noticed that she wasn't taking their fight seriously. She wasn't going all out. And Sarada, she used they started off with taijutsu and using their kunai and stuff. That's what they started off using. And Sarada, she eventually used her lightning ball jutsu on Cho Cho. She made a bunch of lightning balls and actually knocked Cho Cho back. It sent Cho Cho flying back. And it did a lot of damage to her. Cho Cho was trying to fight him, but she couldn't. But then Cho Cho told Sarada, you didn't prepare yourself properly, she basically said, you didn't prepare yourself properly, did you? And Sarada, that reminded Sarada of what she was thinking about. That reminded Sarada of what Sasuke taught her about being prepared, and what Sasuke was telling her about being prepared. Because Sasuke actually asked her, are you prepared to take out Boruto, to take Boruto down even if you have to kill him? And yeah, so Sarada had that flashback. And during that flashback, she was thinking about Boruto. She said, could I actually do that to Boruto? And then she was thinking about what happened in the Boro fight and how Boruto wasn't himself, how he was taken over by Momoshiki. And she thought to herself, could she take Boruto out? And she said she already, prepared herself to be able to do that. That's what she was basically thinking. And yeah, it's interesting how she was thinking of that, even though she didn't know the full story about Boruto. I'm pretty sure the anime still hasn't had, and neither has the manga, has really, they haven't really showed Sarada learning everything about Boruto's karma seal and learning the fact that his karma seal was actually causing Momoshiki to basically it was causing Momoshiki, or it was causing Boruto to turn into Momoshiki. I don't think she fully learned, or even if she did learn it, the anime hasn't showed it yet, and the manga haven't showed it yet of her fully learning the truth about Boruto's karma seal when it comes to that. But then she basically told Cho Cho, I'm prepared as well, and that's when she started fighting more seriously. And yeah, so that was the case with that. She used Fireball Jutsu, and Cho Cho, she used her human boulder to try to counter it. She went past the first Fireball Jutsu, but then started to use Fireball Jutsu again after she was dodging Cho Cho's human boulder. She used her Fireball Jutsu again and actually knocked back Cho Cho's her boulder. And yeah, so then after that it was a little bit more taijutsu, and then they decided to basically use their actual full power, which was Cho Cho. She went on her super butterfly her super butterfly mode, which I already talked about, and started to use her Shidori, which I already talked about. Now, this, like, I seen some people, they actually didn't want Sarada to awaken or activate the third Tomo on her Sharingan against Cho Cho. A lot of people didn't want that to happen. And it looks like they got their wish, because Sarada didn't actually activate the third Tomo on her Sharingan against Cho Cho. Now, I thought it would have made sense if she did against Cho Cho, depending on how serious the battle was. And now that I think about it, I'm actually kind of happy that she didn't, because as we've seen, when Sarada got really serious, when she actually got serious and used her full power, she actually, was capable of one-shotting Cho Cho like she should have did from the start. Now, so with that being said, I don't think Cho Cho is enough of a challenge to make Sarada activate her third Tomo. Now, I did think it could have made sense depending. I mean, well, only reason I thought it was, it could have made sense is because Sasuke activated. I mean, he awakened his third Tomo for the first time in his battle against Naruto when he fought his best friend. Now, if Sarada fought her best friend, I was thinking, yeah, it could make sense that just because, I mean, it'll be similar to what happened with Sasuke. So it would make sense that, if she's in a very, very emotional, state where she's actually fighting her best friend and going all out, she could activate her third Tomo, because that'll make sense. It will, be consistent with what happened with Sasuke in part 1. However, Sarada is not evenly matched with Cho Cho. Sarada is clearly stronger than Cho Cho. So, yes, she actually one-shotted Cho Cho when she actually went use her full power. So, it's not really that similar, because Naruto and Sasuke were more evenly matched than Cho Cho and Sarada, basically. But, yeah, so that was the case with that. And after the match, Cho Cho was crying. She was kind of sad that she couldn't fulfill her promise that she made to Shukadai and Inogen. But Inogen, he was like, hey, I would have been, I basically would have been, he said something along the lines that he wouldn't have liked being the only one who wasn't a tuning on his team, basically. He said something to that effect. And Sarada, after that, well, first of all, Sarada thanked Cho Cho, but also Sarada, Sasuke was there, and he basically said Sarada did a great job in her match, and yeah, so that was the case with that. And yeah, after that we got the same word. So after that, it was basically a motto with those guys who kidnapped them, and they were basically telling them, basically, we want the scientific ninja tools. We're willing to give you everything, no matter, we're willing to give you any amount of money to develop those scientific ninja tools for us, and we're gonna give you good working conditions or whatever. And yeah, that's what they was basically talking to Amato about that. But Amato said he's indebted to the Hidden Leaf Village, and he's not gonna help them he's not gonna help them with that. And then they tried to basically make Amato, they tried to restrain him and tried to take him by force. He had something come down his leg, which looked like that same type of device that he used against Shukadai. But before he could use that, Boruto and Mitsuki saved him. And they said, and they said we'll leave things here to you, basically. So I don't know why they just left him there, but they said we'll leave things here to you or whatever. I don't know. Maybe they just thought those guys was already defeated. Yeah, I guess they already beat those guys, so it was what it was. And Amato basically told him, hey, aren't the tuning exams today, basically? And then Boruto, it looked like he forgot for a second. And he's like, oh, we got to hurry back to the village. And then they were already back in the village by the end of the episode. So I guess that train didn't take them far. I don't know exactly where they went, but either that or maybe it's just because Boruto and Mitsuki are super fast or something. I don't know. But anyways, they're back at Hidden Leaf Village by the end of the episode. And then, yeah, the episode ended off with the Dinky saying, oh, so it's, three very strong opponents left. And, yeah, that's where the episode ended off. In the preview, it was showing Dinky in this suit, this scientific ninja tool suit, fighting Tsubaki. So, I don't know if Boruto and Mitsuki are going to make it back in time. Based on what I've seen from the episode summaries, it doesn't seem like they're going to make it back in time. So, yeah, it seems like neither one of them are going to get promoted to being a tuning. So, yeah, that's the case with that. And it doesn't seem like they're going to make it back in time. And it doesn't seem like they're going to fight each other. But, I mean, since they're already back in the Hidden Leaf Village, I don't know. What I'm guessing is going to happen is I think their names are going to be called before Dinky and Tsubaki fight. So, I think they're going to get disqualified right then. Even though they're already back in the Hidden Leaf Village now, I think their names are going to be called next. So, they're going to get disqualified. And then they're going to move to the Dinky versus Tsubaki match. And by the time Boruto and Mitsuki get there, that would have been too late. They would have already been disqualified. But anyways, yeah, that's what I think about everything that happened in the episode. So with that being said, the story of the episode, I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10 because I think they misused Kawaki in this episode. I don't like the way that they wrote that Kawaki versus Shinki thing, or should I say the Kawaki versus Shinki, or should I say the Kawaki and Shinki scene. I don't like the way they wrote that. I don't like the way they executed that. And it wasn't even a full fight or anything, but, just the way that they did things, I didn't like it at all. Also, the Sarada and Cho Cho match, I think, was decent. I think Sarada should have one-shot. Oh, yeah, one more minor problem I have with the fight is the fact that Sarada, once again, didn't use Genjutsu at all in this fight. She could have absolutely one-shotted Cho Cho with the Genjutsu. But, already talked about, already justified everything that happened as far as the power scaling. But what I will say is, I think Sarada should have used Genjutsu. And overall, I think the Sarada versus Cho Cho fight was decent. It had some great animation towards the end of it when they, had their final clash. That was great. So, yeah. But other than that, yeah, the fight was just decent to me. The story and everything revolving around the fight was great. How Sarada needed to prepare herself. And she actually needed to, she was so concerned about Cho Cho because Cho Cho is her best friend. All of that stuff made sense. The fight, in general, I think it was a decent fight. I'll probably even say a good fight. It was okay. Pretty good, pretty decent, whatever. So anyways, 8 out of 10 for the episode overall. 8 out of 10 for the story. For the art, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 as well for the artwork. Because the art was looking a little bit weird. Well, actually, I'll give it a 9 out of 10 for the artwork. It was looking a little bit weird with the artwork. The artwork was looking a little bit weird throughout the episode at some points. And the animation, I'll give the animation a 9.5. I didn't notice really any problems with the animation. It had some great animation when Sarada and Cho Cho had their final clash. But maybe the taijutsu could have been a little bit better. So, yeah, 9.5 for the animation. 9.5 out of 10 for the animation. 9 out of 10 for the artwork. And 8 out of 10 for the story. So, overall, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. This was a 9 out of 10 episode of Boruto Naruto Next Generations. Another great episode of Boruto Naruto Next Generations. And with that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you guys are new to the channel, please consider subscribing and clicking that channel notification bell to be notified on all of my future videos. If you like the video, please drop a like. And also comment in the comment section below and let me know what you thought of my review and of the episode in the comment section below. What would you rate the episode out of 10? Let me know that in the comment section below. And also, share the video all over the internet. And with that being said, thank you guys for watching. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out. Every promise I've been praying for.